Hello, Aquarius. Thank you so much, as always, you guys, for being here. Okay, Aquarius, so looking at your last week of November, you pulled thirst, self-worth, and flow. This one was interesting. It very much has the feeling of longing for something, but struggling with feelings of deserving or, self-worth, right? Do I deserve to have the thing that I'm longing for? So thirst is talking about being aware of how your passions are driving you. It's that compulsion to want to have something or to experience something. But self-worth, this one says people, events, and material objects beyond your frame of reference are being drawn to you. And it's because of that that I feel like, the healing advice here is flow. But it says aim higher, for you will draw even greater experiences into your life. Allow your energy to grow. Receiving is an action. And it talks about how you relate to the word deserving. And it asks, are you ready to allow yourself to receive what others may not? And it's interesting how that's connected to thirst. So if you feel like there's something that you're longing for, but there's a question of whether or not you deserve it, I think that's where flow is coming in, where you need to just let go of trying to make something happen, or let go of the feeling of longing, because it's just sending the signal out that you're still wanting to have that feeling. You're always going to be longing for that thing, right? But flow talks about manifestation. It says, it's wonderful to know you can release your unhappiness. Please trust that you hold the power to be happy. Your healing is hinged on how you view your world, which, with self-worth, it's very true. If you feel like you're undeserving, then that's exactly what you're going to keep getting back, right? But it says, if you feel unhappy or unlucky, you may benefit from committing to a more positive attitude. Now, that with self-worth, I feel like the positive attitude there is understanding that you exist, so you're already worthy of the things that you want. But very much there's this feeling of, I really wish that I had this, or I really wish that I had this experience, but it just isn't happening. The Four of Cups and then the Three of Pentacles, it's like continuously working towards something that isn't changing the way that you feel about what you're experiencing, right? And with the Four of Cups, it's just, there's no interest, right? It's not as good as you thought it was going to be, but you continue to work for it, or you're just not getting the results that you want, and it's possibly creating some emotional numbness. I don't know. I think that the big time message here, Aquarius, is whatever it is that you're wanting to experience or wanting to manifest in your life right now, be careful about how you're feeling about it, because it very much reminds me of the message that you have to feel like you already have it, right? But again, the feeling of not feeling worthy of what you're desiring is a huge block. It creates huge resistance. And this may be something that, you may not be recognizing. And I'm wondering if, that's why that one in particular is coming up with thirst. Because, again, with the message of flow, right, just let things flow. It'll come to you, but the resistance there is whether or not you feel like you deserve it. You're overall the Two of Pentacles, so the balancing act, right? And this one always feels like there's something that you keep in play. You're not really doing anything with it yet, but there's the decision that has to be made, right? Now, for some of you, it's just trying to balance everything that's going on in your life right now, possibly your finances, but we'll see how this is playing out. Either way, it's like needing to make a decision on what to do with something that has held value to you, but you've got all these other things that you have to figure out too, right? The Nine of Wands in the past, so being on guard. Whatever you went through put you in a place of being defensive. And now you're coming into what you're dealing with this feeling of, I'm not open to allowing certain things into my life because of what I've experienced, right? The wounded warrior. But there's still that perseverance that comes with this. Yeah, and manifestation, big time. So in the present, the magician, thinking big, right? And having what you need to be able to manifest the things that you want. You know, but we'll see what's going on here, because the thing is if you're in the balancing act, you may be being pulled between two different things, and it's almost like, well, what is it that you're actually creating then? You know, and what is it that you're wanting to manifest, but what aren't you willing to allow into your space anymore? It's like putting restrictions on how things are coming to you. But there's still this need to like make a decision. Future conditions, the Fool. So what I like about this is that when you finally do make the choice to either make something out of what you've been keeping in balance or letting it go, either way, with the Fool, right? We're jumping head first. There's faith. There's the clean slate. You're not carrying anything with you. I always say with the Fool, when we get involved in something with this kind of energy, it's going into something without any preconceived notions about how things are going to work out, what it's going to look like, right? It's just trusting the process. And I feel like with the Nine of Wands coming through from the past, you move into a place where the manifestation is so important to you that it's creating this kind of space for you to be able to let go and go with the flow, right? Your best path to follow, the Queen of Cups. You know, with the Nine of Wands coming in from the past, I feel like this is a message of, you know, opening up your heart, but also being aware of how your emotions have been driving you, not just your desire and your passion with thirst, right? Being honest with yourself about how you feel, especially if you have opened yourself up to a situation that, you know, you want to make something out of it, right? But the problem is whatever happened in the past has left you on like guard. But, you know, again, it's like there's this want to wipe that all away so that you can just flow with it, right? But I feel like this is a huge reminder of be aware of how your emotions are affecting you when it comes to being open and being emotionally available, especially to someone else. And there you are in your environment with the Star. And with the Magician, this is like having hope returned into something that you've been wanting to create in your life, you're wanting to see. But whatever you have dealt with in the past, I think, has been blocking you from being able to make the choice. And right now it's all about, what am I doing with this? What am I creating out of this? Is it worth opening yourself up to? Wow, man. And this is big, right? It looks like such a small and minor decision, but it's so, you know, heavily connected to a manifestation that could change the way that you move forward with the Fool. Now, for some of you, absolutely, this could be about being honest with yourself about how you feel about something that you haven't made a decision on. And it may be that now is the time to move away from that, depending on what's been created from it. And the only reason why I say that again is because you have this defensive nature coming through. But this is, definitely hope and healing, having hope restored to you on what you're trying to create. Your hopes and your fears, the Two of Wands, is the decision that I make going to be the right way forward? Because this is the decision to act. And here you're looking at your ability to create things the way that you want them, the way that you see them. But, I'm seeing you in a place where I think you're not really ready to make a choice, if that makes sense. It's like everything is opening the door for you to go ahead and create what you need to continue, the healing and the emotional balance for sure. But this is the big hope, the big dream, right? And you may have been in the balancing act with something that isn't worthy of you even. Like, I look at this and I think, this is so much bigger, especially with the star connected to it. But this is hoping that you're making the right decision and taking the right action. But it may be that you're waiting for the door to open in order for you to be able to make that choice. But it's interesting because you still come out with the Fool. And like I said, there's kind of two ways to look at that. Coming out the Ten of Wands, so carrying a heavy burden, right? And this is why there's like the opposite feeling of this. There's the having faith in what you're wanting to manifest and jumping into it. But then for some of you, it's, you know what? I need to get away from the things that I've thought that I wanted to manifest and start looking at the bigger picture, and maybe now it's time to wipe the slate clean, right? And having more faith in yourself and how you feel, and being honest with how you feel about something that you've been playing with and needing to decide what you're going to do with, right? But coming out with the Ten of Wands here, it may be that for some of you, this is a big burden. This is something that's been weighing you down. The Knight of Pentacles, okay. And with the Fool, it's like, I want this to be over, and I want to experience something different. And then the Two of Cups, so yeah, possibly talking about a relationship here. But with the Ten of Wands and going through death, it makes me wonder if this isn't a different choice than you thought was available to you. Because you're talking about somebody coming in that understands you. There's that, emotional connection, right? Can you open up your heart to a new person, a new situation? If you've been continuously playing with the idea of, a different one, like there's this relationship and then there's this one. The one that I actually want to see happen in my life. But yet I'm still messing around with the same things that have brought me into this place of feeling like I've been put through a lot, and needing to go through the healing, but also seeing, the bigger hope, the bigger dream, right? And this has become the burden now. Now, with the Knight of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands, right, this may have been a very long process that you've been through, but slow and steady movement is going to lead you to what you are desiring. The problem is you're going to have to release the burdens before, things can start to change. And then you have death with the Magician and the Star. Yeah, this is needing for the situation to end in a way where things change for you permanently, where you're not going back and continuously playing with the idea of whether or not a relationship will work out. And I have to wonder here if it isn't through the burden of this process that you finally decide to let it go with the Fool. But you also are dealing with a major transformation that's happening with you that may bring in that right connection, that right relationship, that right person who understands how you feel. Whatever has been going on with it, and it doesn't have to be romantic, right? This can be any relationship. Whatever has been going on with relationships and how they have left you, that is changing. And your view on what you've been creating in your life is going to be changing too, right? And with death, we're not going back. There is no going back to how things were. And you want that kind of finale with the Ten of Wands, right? Because it's just been a burden on you, a burden on your heart, a burden on your decision-making process. Psychic knowing, interesting. Create. And trust. Wow, man. So psychic knowing, this to me is like the High Priestess. Your knowing of how to create is what you need to have trust or faith in. That, and I also feel like there needs to be trust that the universe is working for you. It is responding to you. It's just that there are times where we think it's only responding in a negative way, right? Impasse. Reflect and redirect your energy. And then Desert Passage, and I've seen this one before too this week. Trust there's a divine plan. This is like walking through a situation where nothing is really happening. Everything is just dry. There's nothing, nothing happening. But you're continuing down this path regardless. But there's a plan here for the block that you may be facing. But that's in order for you to be able to create what your heart really wants, right? If you're honest with yourself about how you feel. So I want to say here, Aquarius, right? If you're dealing with issues of oh my God, if I could talk right, self-worth. Right? Be careful about how you view the word deserving. You already exist. So you are deserving of everything that you want. And if you've been carrying around this burden of feeling like you've been beat up by the experiences that you've had, right? Like you're moving into a place where you're getting ready to let it go. You may not see it though now because it's going to feel like a block. But, as soon as you have faith in the process and you let go of those burdens, I think that somebody very understanding and compassionate may be there to help you. That, or you're going to make a very strong connection to somebody completely different than what you've experienced before.